Kurt's hanging in there. It's going to be close. A close one again. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Yes, we certainly are, because here at the Truth Quest, we go beyond the range of strange, where the outrageous is contagious, and the paranormal is the new normal. Yes, here we are again. Operation Shutdown. Isn't that dramatic music? Yes. Thank you, Operation Shutdown. It's actually, that's the same intro music I had for my show on Blog Talk Radio many years ago. Hello, Catherine Weiss. How you doing today? Good to see you here. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share this on out to my friends over there in Facebook land. That's where they dwell, some of these people. And, you know, if you try to friend me on Facebook, make sure that you put a little note and tell me that you've seen the show or you subscribe to the show, because I don't know who's real and who's not when I look at that. So I have a bunch of people who might be real people, but I'm just not sure. Call in. Yeah, a little message. And they'll get the message there and they'll be tuning in. How's that sound? Well, I hope you're all having a great evening here on the 22nd. Hello, Dark Brain. And it's, of course, the anniversary of a very sad anniversary, the day that John Fitzgerald Kennedy Sr. Was deep stated by the same criminals that are in charge now. So there you go. That's my opinion. And there you have it. It also happens to be my father's birthday. And so had he lived, he died about 4 months ago, he would have been 82 today. So there you go. So happy birthday, Dad, in heaven. So hello, A. Neil. Good to see you here. Yeah, the intro music that Operation Shutdown was talking about, that's the same same basic music that I had for my the UFO show on Blog Talk Radio back in the middle 2000s, like 2006, 7, 8, 9, around that time frame period. I had a little show over there and did a lot of interviews, and it was great. Although all the shows are not available anymore, so that's a shame. But yeah, you know what? Maybe I should play the old intro music I had for my Blog Talk Radio show. Do you want to hear it? It's pretty nice. A friend of mine had a voice talent guy do the intro over the music, and it's quite something else, actually. Factually. So maybe we'll, let me see if I can drum that up here and find that. So. Uh-oh. That's on repeat. That's not good. Oh, well. I have to go over here now and make sure I have this muted. It's not. Now it is. Okay, great. Yeah. So yeah, so here is, I hope this is gonna play. Let me see. It's either this one or this one. Let me see. I wish it would show the whole. Oh, this is a promo that we did with Jim Sparks. He was one of the first people I interviewed on my old UFO show. So let me just play this. You might like it. Let's see if you like it.
The UFO Show with Aaron Moriarity on Blog Talk Radio.
I just want to say that just for you and your show, I really enjoyed your show. I love your questions. I really enjoyed the way you've let it flow. And I really hope that to see your program really grow and grow and grow, Aaron. I want to thank you for having me on as a guest.
The UFO Show with Aaron Moriarity on Blog Talk Radio.
So there you go. What'd you think of that? Hey, Neil from Zoso's dropped by. Hello, hey Neil. Good to see you here. Yeah, I talked to Zoso, and guess what? I have an announcement to make, folks. We have 2 people coming up that are going to be on the show for an interview. The first one is this Friday. Let me see. Hold on a second here. I got to get this over here. There. Alara Sirius from the Conspiracy Couch show and also Space Force News. So she will be on the show Friday night. And then the following Monday, a week from today, Zoso Dude is going to be on the program. So I'm tickled pink and very excited about having these 2 awesome guests so close to each other. So I'm super duper happy about it and happy as a lark. So there you go. And I think it's going to be great. You know, I talked to both of them today, and I just know that they're going to be great shows. So tell your friends, wake your neighbors, get the dog, and we'll watch those on Friday and Monday. But we have a show on Wednesday as well. And you might be on that show because you might call in, and then you'd be on. Right? Am I right? I might not always be right, but I'm never wrong. Did I do this already? No, I didn't. Okay. Well, I guess Tucker Carlson interviewed Kyle Rittenhouse today. And he's doing a special in December. They had a lot of behind the scenes footage. So that's really awesome. Probably the best show to do that. Tucker's great, you know. And so, yeah, that was, I got to see that. It was very interesting. He just basically went over the whole case. It is amazing that even went to trial, in my opinion. I always thought that. So there you go. Greetings from Knoxville. Hello, Austin Morris. Let's see here. Alrighty then. We got a whole bunch of things to look at here today, friends. The disclosure just keeps on happening. First of all, maybe I should start off by showing you a picture. This is a very important picture to me. This, my friends, I don't want to build it up too much because I hate when people do that, right? But this right here, friends, the picture I'm about to publish here on the program before your very eyes is my pride and joy. Please excuse me for this indulgence. My pride and joy. There they are. My pride and joy. Gotta tell ya, it just gives me a good feeling all over, you know? Oh, that would be good, Dark Brain. A link to the full Tucker interview. Let's see where it is now. Hey, I couldn't help myself. That's my pride and joy. Man, I love showing people my pride and joy. You know, I can't help it. Well, wouldn't you? Look at that. That's my pride and joy. Yes. First dad joke of the evening. Yes, very, very good. You can actually buy those as cards and hand them out, which I would highly advise. Highly advise that. Yes. As much jokes as you can, stand to hear and tell. Let's do it, because nothing raises your vibration like a good joke. And jokes got even better when they were upgraded and called dad jokes. I think that's a really, really cool thing, that dads would be known for that. So that's the thing. Never used to be, right? Dads were pretty serious back in the old days. But you gotta love those dad jokes. Here's another discovery of mine. People, the face on Mars? Okay. The original face on Mars, it was clearly a face. And then after the NASA Photoshop people got a hold of it and they did a new picture. Remember that a few years back? They put a new picture out and it didn't look anything like the original picture. Well, I was looking at that new one. Hello, Mud Rabbit. I was looking at that new image of the face on Mars that NASA like reimaged with supposedly high resolution photographs or camera. I really truly think that they did some manipulation here and that it really was like the picture taken in the 70s. But so I was looking at this picture, the new one, and I thought, gosh, that looks familiar. That looks familiar. I get that. When I get that, I know I've seen that exact shape before. And people think that the face on Mars was human. I don't think so. If this new image is indeed true, it might not be human, but check this out. Hello, Rosetta Stone. Good to see you here. Check this out. This is something I saw the face on Mars, the new one. And I thought, this looks like something. So I went ahead and I found this, made it the same angle, and look at this. Oh, oops. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Check this out. Not a human, but an ape. Remember Planet of the Apes, friends? Well, take a look at that. It looks pretty similar to me. And I even went ahead, check that out. Is that Dr. Zaius? Is that his name? What was his name? He was like one of the elders, right? He was like a real big jerk. but it looks kind of like him. And I even did a half picture of his face and a half picture of the face on Mars. And you got to see this. It's incredible. What do you think of that? Apes. Maybe that, my friends, was the planet of the apes. Mars. Huh. I know it's kind of a silly one, but check this out. Now, check this out. Look at this. It matches up like perfectly. Look at that. Do you see that? Or maybe I can adjust the tones here so you darken it up a bit so you can see it. Look at that. I mean, I don't know. What about you guys? I mean, are you seeing that too? Well, look at that. What is this? This is wild. I can't believe it. Now, I don't know why it has all those green lines on it. Not sure. But something about the source picture that I had made this a while back. But check that out. Isn't that wild? What do you guys think? What do you think of that? Bigfootish. Yeah, could be Bigfoot. Your connection isn't all that good tonight? If you get knocked off, you'll be back? Okay. Damn dirty apes, Charlton Heston. That's right, Dark Brain. That was a great, great movie. I loved the first one. It was great. But check that out. Have you ever seen anybody else notice this correlation? I mean, look, his nose and everything. It all lines up. It's pretty wild. Yeah, maybe Planet of the Apes was a documentary. It could be. Maybe Mars is the Planet of the Apes. I think we got some very, very odd. Yeah. Yeah. See, that's the thing I got. I got this problem. When I see something and it looks familiar to me, my mind just goes like, it's like there's a Rolodex in there going around. I don't think my mind works like a computer. I think it more like works like a card catalog at the library, right? Going through the files. But yeah, and then I go, oh, that looks like Planet of the Apes. Dr. Zaius. Yeah. Yeah, so there you go. See, you never know what you're going to find here. Some of these ridiculous, weird, coincidental, or maybe not coincidental things, because I come across some pretty weird stuff. Okay, Rosetta Stone says, I don't know, I think that's dogs and cats, or cats walk and look like a miniature lion. It's cuter than hell. Okay. There you are. So how do you think about that, folks? Isn't that something else? So proud of my discoveries. Oh, yeah. I should write a scientific paper on it, huh? It wouldn't be scientific, it would be scientific, because I always pronounce the silent letters. Yeah, that was always one of my favorite movies, Planet of the Apes. You know, the idea that we blow ourselves up and then, you know, the next ones in line come of age. After they did the first movie, it was a huge hit. And the movie company said, okay, to the writers and the producers, okay, we need a second one. And they said, there is no second one. It's a one-shot pony. There is no second one. They said, no, there has to be. And so they convinced him. I think they probably gave him a lot of money. And so they came up with five different movies, including that very first one. The ape civilization revered their lawgiver who would have looked like that face. Ah, yeah. Maybe they had telescopes and they could see that from Earth. Because as I understood, because that was Earth they came back to. But maybe, they had to change one thing. They just changed what planet it was. Predictive programming. Yeah. So there you go. I thought that was interesting. Yeah. Here's something, folks, for all of the conspiratorial people out there. I saw this today. And, some of these people, every time they see someone that slightly resembles JFK Jr., they kind of go crazy. But, okay, here you got a presidential limo, okay. So now you're wondering, like, when was the picture taken, all right? I don't think it's Hunter Biden. No, he's too busy painting, right? So I took a screen capture of his face and I did a little bit of manipulation to it, and to see if I could see if we could, get a little closer, add a little contrast, and see what that is, or who it might be. And this was kind of the extreme, but I don't know. Kind of looks like him. I don't know. Might not be. There's no way to tell. It's too fuzzy. Not enough pixels. I'd increase the pixels. So yeah. What do y'all think about that? Everyone, there's a certain segment of the truth movement that thinks that JFK Jr. might very well be alive. And, I got to say, that would be a nice thing. I think it's hopeful thinking. I think it also just drives the deep state nuts. So that's why I like it. Yeah, second movie, they blew it all up. Yeah, wasn't that Beneath the Planet of the Apes? And some humans that had like multi faces because they endured a nuclear holocaust, and they prayed to this rocket that was like a nuclear rocket that was like the doomsday rocket, would end the planet. And I think that was the one. And they could project holographic images on the surface of fire and stuff to keep people away. Hopeful thinking, but unlikely. Yeah, operation shutdown. Yeah, but if if there is some question out there, it's got to give some of the deep state people a little bit of nervousness, which I would like. Yeah, posted by RH. I know. Yeah. Now Q was asked right out, because this R thing was taking over, and Q said, no, he's not alive. But Q also said that misinformation and disinformation is necessary. And of course, they would want to keep that on the hush until it's totally the right time. But in the meantime, it's out there as a possibility. Even just there's a slim possibility, even though some people think it's a slim possibility, that still has to be, a jab in the side of the deep state. So I'm all for it. No limit to the creator. That's right. Yeah. I don't know if that's, who knows? It's too fuzzy to know. I would probably say no, probably isn't. But someone put that up. Now, here's one that I just love. I know you probably all have seen this by now, but it's really good. Oh, the irony of it. Wiping the tears off the face of the man who didn't like him crying. He had a heck of a lot more reason to cry than that bad basketball player ever had a reason. I guess just rush his elbow and he cries or something, I heard. I don't know. I don't watch sports. I never was a very big athletic supporter. So I don't, I used to watch sports when I was a kid because that's what the TV was set on. I don't waste my time with sports. I mean, some people like them. That's fine. I used to. I don't. I don't spend any of my time with sports. It's like one or the other team is going to win, or it could be a tie. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Why watch it? Yeah, that's right. Good old Kyle on Tucker. Probably the most watched show on mainstream news, huh? Probably the most watched. Good. I hope. Well, I hope everybody watches it because I don't watch mainstream media. I don't have television. I don't have my TV's not hooked up to any kind of antenna or cable or anything like that. In fact, it's got artwork in front of it, which I think everybody should do. Put artwork in front of your TV. At least then it'll be it'll be better than spewing junk. It's a place to put art. Yeah. So there you go. And speaking of art, I was looking at some of the other of the mirror images that I do. A lot of times, either from pictures of planets or nebulas or really anything. And I do this to them. And I get these beautiful, beautiful images. Yeah, I'm not sure what these two were. This was definitely Jupiter. And I mirrored it twice. So it's a mirrored to the fourth or to the second power. Here's this Jupiter. This is a nebula out in space, this kind of colorful one here. This is another one from Jupiter, from a blue part of Jupiter. Very similar to this one. And here is Jupiter as well. It was blue, but I just tinted it. I adjusted the colors to make it purple. I thought it looked pretty cool as purple. Again, Jupiter. Jupiter's my favorite. This one also is Jupiter. Jupiter. Jupiter, Jupiter. Jupiter. Look at that face right there. It's pretty cool. Jupiter, Jupiter. This looks like a face too. Jupiter. Space nebula, space nebula. So there you go. It works with clouds too. So there's a little, and if you like those, there's a couple of them that I put on shirts on my merch shop. So you might want to check that out. Also, before I forget, because I'm being forgetful today. Oh, my Himalayan pink salt, very noisy. So here we go. We're going to get the Zoom meeting ID and passcode and all that kind of crazy stuff. So if you all want to come and call in and be on the show and do all that crazy cool stuff, you may, because that's why we're here. Full disclosure, you got something to disclose? Call in. Let's talk about it. Okay. Here's the one tap mobile. You've seen Pluto on your son's lineup? Okay. Pluto. Oh, okay. I have the Fire Stick in Pluto. YV is free. Hey, Celestial Soul. Yeah, so those are pretty cool, huh? So I thought it'd be nice to see a whole bunch of them at the same time. You know, you take any photograph, you can make it symmetrical by doing this process to it and come up with really beautiful symmetrical designs that just fascinate you for hours because there's so many things that you can see in it. Oh, you like the purple one, Celestial Soul? Yeah, that one is pretty cool. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Yeah, that came out really good. I mean, it looks like someone built it or something. The clouds, the undulations of the clouds and the surface of, or on the upper atmosphere, in the upper atmosphere of Jupiter, are absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, and they translate so well into these images. And they create such awesome, organic looking designs. So yeah. All right. I'm going to close that so I don't get that beeping sound. So there you go. That's the mirror images that I show from time to time. And oh, there's the official merch shop. Thank you so much, Mud Rabbit. Yeah, you can find there's a couple of shirts on there, and someone did order one, and they were very happy with it. So, Mud Rabbit. I like the second one from the right on the bottom, the pink one. Oh, right here? Yeah? Oops. Sorry, I need to actually go like this. Well, where is it? Oh, you mean right here? Yeah, this one. Right there. Yeah, this is on my photos of my Facebook page. There it is. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So that's Mud Rabbit's favorite one. That is a pretty darn cool one. Looks like a flower, doesn't it? Flower colors. It's from a nebula in space. Made from one image. Mirrored. There you go. So that's that. That is that. I came across this picture of my mom and my dad and my son. This is from years ago when my son was just a little boy. And there's my dad. And of course, it's his birthday today. So I wanted to show a picture of my dad on here and my mom and AJ or Aaron Jr. And that, I believe that was, I was doing an Elvis show there and they came to watch it. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. So that's that. I showed a meme the other day of like a paramecium or something holding a sign that trust the science. And one of the people in the chat said that isn't the Hydra that they found in the JAB. So I went ahead and I found that, and I made a little meme. I don't know. What do you think? It's kind of like emulating the other meme, but oops, there you go. Gotta move this, don't we? Trust the AI God. We will help you be healthy. Yeah, I don't think so, Hydra. I don't think so, Hydra. What do you think about that? Oh my goodness. Can you believe this is going in people's bodies? People? Caps lock. Hey, up dog, how you doing? Oh, look at that thing in the way there. Oh well. So there it is. That's the actual thing that they found in the so there you go. That's kind of spooky, huh? These things are creeping along, keep creeping around in there. Stu Peters, yeah, he's got a great show. I like that. This is, this is what happens when you trust the science. You get these little guys inside you, roaming around, creating havoc. Probably, maybe the nanites are in there too, and the nanites are making a little nanite bricks, and these things can throw the bricks. Like it's going to be like Antifa in your bloodstream. It's not good. It's not good at all. Yeah, it's pretty bizarre. Ooh, I'm gonna hit that like button. I got number 14 as my lucky number, and whenever you hit the thumbs up button, and the number you get is your lucky number, and it's your lucky number for a whole week. So take advantage of your free lucky number. All you have to do is smash that like button, and you got it. A number, a lucky number. So we care about you. We're always thinking about doing nice things for our chat members, like giving them lucky numbers, and anyone who watches. And if you're watching this on the replay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And I also want to take this time to thank everybody who has super chatted in the past and everything else like that. There we go. 17 likes now. Hey, that's a good number. I like that number. Don't you? Yeah. Let's get that guy off of the screen. You know what, friends? Here's what the mainstream media does. All they really do is they come up with catchphrases, right? And sound bites, easily digestible, and they repeat them over and over again. It's all misdirection and fabricated lies, easily repeatable by, the hypnotized masses. That's all it is. I've seen posts from people who obviously didn't watch the trial, who obviously probably listened to lamestream media, and some guy's going off about, oh, Kyle Rittenhouse, oh, he's like a hero to the right. Yeah, all he had to do was just, kill 3 black lives. It's like, what? The guy, it's like, well, you know what? People wouldn't be so stupid if the news organizations actually did their jobs, you know? I mean, citizen journalists shouldn't have to, start up their own shows just to get the truth out. Truth should already be out. Truth, boy, we got a good thing in this country, freedom of press. But when the press is owned, which it's owned, I mean, then what? I mean, six corporations own like 98% of all media. And what if those are not good people? And also, news should not be, I don't think it should be for profit. I don't think they should even allow advertising on news channels. You know what? Maybe yeah, I don't know. MSM is pathetic these days. Yeah, it really is. Oh, is Zoso dude in the house? Hey, there he is. Yeah, tune in next Monday, and the Zoso dude will be here on the Truth Quest in the spaceship, flying high above the stratosphere in a place we call No Fear. Yes, we're cruising along in the area of space we call No Fear, and we're just waking people up right and left, or trying to, but doing our best to wake these people up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Zoso dude has the coolest voice on the intronet. And I told him so on his show the other day that, because when you hear the guy, it's like, who is that? That sounds like someone famous, important. He's got that kind of voice. And it's kind of like a warm hug. His voice is like a velvety, warm hug. And he's such a nice guy, and it's a great show. The Mystery Ship. There you go. And he's giving away free t-shirts. My goodness. Well, I think if you get a t-shirt, I'm thinking about getting one from him, but I would have to, pitch some money his way to make me feel better about it, because I don't want to take anything from anybody. So yeah, it's going to be a good show. Yeah. We had a great talk today. So it'll be rocking. And then he's going to have me on the Mystery Ship sometime too. So that'll be fun. And don't forget Alara Sirius on Friday night, going on, I think, at 11 Central after Red Pill's show. So check us out. And she, of course, is from the Conspiracy Couch, 1 Foot N5D, and also Space Force News. So her and Foyle do those shows. So Alara will be here. And that's a pretty cool name, because she's got 3 A's in her name. I only have 2 A's. She's got 3. Oh, how are the dogs? Well, they're not barking. I brought them in. So, yeah, if you haven't checked Zoso dude, go check him out. He's got a really cool show. A very welcoming person and a great guy. And he just, there he is. He's king of the intronet. So go check him out. Give him a subscribe. Tell all your friends. Tell all your enemies, everybody, about this guy, because he's got a cool show. And he's always there to help and support other people's shows too. So he's a really super duper guy. So he needs to be like one of the top shows. I believe he's on Foxhole too. And, I hope to be there someday soon too. The dogs are okay. They're doing okay. My son came by today and brought another bag of food for them. So that was good. That was very good. Okay, Neil says, at Aaron, kind of weird question, but did your dad used to say, that a boy? No, I don't think he did. I don't remember him ever saying that. The hair, man. Oh, you like the hair? Did it turn out today? Yeah. I call it the hurricane hair because it can stand up to a hurricane. And it's not that hard. I use 2 hair products. I've used all kinds of hair products in the past. I've settled on 2 hair products. And that is, I use gel. I use the cheapest gel I can find, the LA Looks. It's like $1.72 or something for a big thing. It lasts about 1.5 years. And a little bit of hairspray, which is the Suave. It doesn't have aerosol. There you go. It's hurricane hair. I can pound nails with this. No, I can't do that. Don't want to try that. But yeah, I used to work at the dealership up here, little GM dealership, Jim Olson Motors. And in the wintertime, we'd have to go out and we'd have to brush off all the cars because they get out snow all over them. And all the guys are going out there. And they're all, wearing their jackets, their boots, their scarf, their hat, their gloves, mittens, whatever. I'm out there. I got my jacket, my gloves, my scarf, and my boots. No hat. And so one of the guys goes, "Hey, Aaron, where's your hat? It's cold out here." And I said, "Do you see this hair?" He said, "Yeah. This here is thermal hair." There you go. No need for a hat, dude. Because here's my theory about hats. Why is your hair on your head? To keep your head warm. If you wear a hat all the time, your hair is like going, "Man, we really don't need to be here anymore. This guy's got like a hat or something. We don't need to grow anymore." So I think hats can inhibit hair growth. That's my opinion. You see the wave. Yeah, the wave. Is it wavy? I can't tell. I don't know. Hard to see from this angle. Can't see myself. There you go. Let's see what else we have here for you, friends. Have you all seen the elongated skulls of Paracas, Peru? Because this was one of the ones that they found. And it has tissue in it still. But look at the teeth. Now, these don't look like human teeth, right? They're very big. And look how big the eye sockets are. And look at the cranium. Look how huge this is. Now, this is not from cranial deformation, where they deform the cranial with boards and bindings and stuff. Because these skulls had a much larger mass where the brain would have been. And binding a head does not increase the inner volume at all. If anything, it would inhibit it. So there's that. I mean, you'd think you'd have enough material to, and look at this strange chin down here. It's very sad that this creature passed away, but this person, and this being. And I think this was a child, if I'm remembering correctly. Very big skull, very big head. So yeah, very strange, huh? Hat causes emotional damage to good hair. Yeah. It's like, wow, we're not needed up here. We're not appreciated. He's got a replacement for us all, guys. Who was it? There was a comedian. I can't remember who it was. Who said um, the hair just can't go all the way up. That it's going in other places in your body. It's not going to the top. Funny. Yeah, those teeth and those eyes. Yeah, and even the nasal cavity is much bigger than a human too, and the sutures are in different places. Um, yeah, it's not human. It might be some human mix, possibly. I don't know. Man. Yeah. Now, my friend Steven Cefalo, he is the artist, the really, really awesome artist that is rendering the comic book or the graphic novel for Corey Good. It's almost done. It's fabulous. But he did a drawing of two elongated head people with skin, and it's really, really striking. That picture, that image, it's really a beautiful painting. Sounds like Robin Williams. Yeah, he's hair all over his body. Yeah. So there you go. There's that guy. There's that guy. Now, what are we going to do here? Yeah, the chin was odd, wasn't it, Dark Brain? Very odd indeed. Now, have you folks ever heard about this story? Okay, so apparently, according to this article, this woman here, she's a French woman, and she claims that she's a hybrid. Have you seen this video? This guy's like speaking for her because she can't speak English. And this is her daughter. And she supposedly met this other woman who only spoke English. And they were both, and the American woman, the woman who spoke English, told her, "You're a hybrid." And they started talking and they understood each other, even though they were speaking different languages. Very strange. Have you all heard about that? It's very interesting. Roy Orbison and Elvis Costello. Ah, I thought it would be funny to dress up like Elvis and come out on stage and sing all Elvis Costello songs. I think that would be hilarious. Just hilarious. Don't you think? But look at her eyes. Look at how big her eyes are, and there's something very, very mysterious about her. Now, maybe she's one of these people that Corey talks about from the inner earth. And they're humans, but they have a longer lifespan. You've seen the video, Mud Rabbit? What did you think of that? Okay, well, maybe I'll put the video in the chat and you can all look at, oh my. Oh boy, these little buttons are so small, so hard to see. Okay. Now I'm trying to find, okay, this is the problem. All right, here we go. Back on track, folks. I think I have to go to desktop to find that file. Yeah, I hope you're all having a great time and a great evening. Oh boy, that much of a desktop, huh? Zoinks. Maybe I could just find it quicker this way. Is that it? No, that's the NASA thing. Not finding it. Oh boy. Oh, here it is. It's right here. I thought I had separated it from my toolbar, but I didn't. So, okay, I'll have to hit mute on this in case it starts up. And there. Now I can share it over here. Here's that video that I told you about. Yeah, I don't know what to think about this one. Yeah, I just put the link in there, so hopefully you can find out what her name is. I can't remember her name either. I know it's not safe image, but there you go. I thought that was an interesting one. Yeah, I'm not sure, Austin. This was just a picture that was with the article. I'm not sure if that's really a picture of her daughter or not. But they do both have a very different look, I would say. I don't know. But that's why I bring this stuff up. Maybe someone knows something. Yeah. So there's that. A little interesting tidbit. You know, I don't have much on that except what that was. And today I was watching this. This is a still from the ISS, the International Space Station. And there's a couple of cosmonauts and about 4 astronauts and someone from the European Space Agency. And I wanted to see if there's anything, any kind of UFOs in the background. Look at that. What's that? What are those things? I was just taking random screenshots of this. And you can see this is where it was at the time. Right over here between America and Europe here. So it's kind of cool, huh? Put that back to normal. Brighten that up a bit. There are a couple. Now, supposedly you're not supposed to see stars this close to the Earth. So what are these? Are those other satellites? I don't know. What do you folks think? Yeah, I thought it'd be kind of fun to watch a little bit of that to see how it goes. No, they show the show was a video. It was a video. I just pulled some stills So I'll show you the video, and I think it's still going. I don't think they ever stop it. But what they do is they change the views. So, I mean, they were showing like two people doing a spacewalk today, and then they shoot to just a picture of the water. It's like, no, let's watch the dudes fumbling with the. They're so cumbersome. They're so awkward. They really don't have much movement, and they can't do much in those poor suits. Something needs to be done. They need a better way to work. And I don't know. So let's see if we can find that. Okay, that's not it. Preview. Screenshot. It's a screenshot. Okay. Oh, I think this is it. Yeah. Let's share this and see what comes over here. There it is. All right. There it is. Look at that. See, now it's over here. Over coming up towards offshore of China. It will be after it passes India and some of those little islands there. Look at that. Isn't that cool? It's very cool. And they had music. Let me see. Oh, that's way too loud. Yeah, we don't need the music. But there it is. Isn't that majestic? So there you go. I'll put that in the chat too. So let me make a copy of that. Copy. Paste. Oh, I love copying and pasting. So much better than in grade school because you don't get to paste all of your fingers, right? There you go. There's the Earth. I see a slight curvature there. And those flat earthers, oh, that's just because it's a lens. Yeah, okay. It's still showing the whole Earth going below you. I mean, how do you explain that, flat earthers? I don't know. It can't be explained because the Earth is round. It is very, very, very big. Okay. Fleas can't tell the dog is dog-shaped either, but some of them think that the dog is flat. Some of them think that the dog is dog-shaped. And are you seeing the space station overhead in Australia? Oh, Updog, you in Australia? Wow. Well, our prayers are with you, my friend, and everybody down under. You guys are really going through some harsh totalitarianism there. Oh, it looks like it's jittering a little bit. I think it's just because of the format. Yeah, if you watch it, folks, if you watch it with the link I put in there, it won't be that jittery like it's on here. It's jittery. It's very smooth. So that's dog-shaped. Yes. Yeah. I did a meme, the flat dog theory, with the two fleas arguing about it. So that's my answer to the flat Earth people. Isn't that majestic? Wouldn't that be awesome to be up there? They should be, why aren't they sending artists up there? Send an artist up there to, to do paintings. Send Steve Cefalo, okay? And he'll do a painting up there. Wouldn't that be nice? We're praying for Oz. Yes, we are. All of our friends down under. Because we want a free planet. Not just one country free. Not just two countries free. How about every country free? I think that would be the way to go. It used to be the goal. Yeah. So there you go. It's always fun. And you can, I was watching this afternoon and I had my screenshot ready. I was waiting for a UFO to come. I was like, oh man, I didn't see anything. Send Hunter Biden his paintings. Yeah. Yeah, send Hunter Biden up there and make him do his paintings up there so we can keep an eye on him. Oh yeah, cosmonaut Lenov took up amateur painting after his space flight. Was he the one that was on the Apollo Soyuz mission? Because he was the one that was on also allegedly and on camera in the Apollo 20 footage. Yeah. See anything nefarious, folks? Do you see any Galactic Federation ships coming into view? No, that's what Corey was saying, that a lot of the times when the ISS, the International Space Station, when they film like a craft coming in view, apparently a lot of times those are secret space program people trying to get our attention because they want people to know where we are so that we can all benefit from the life advantaging technologies that come from interstellar travel and all that comes with that. So there you go. There's the Earth. Everything's down there on it. I mean, we keep thinking, oh, let's go to Mars. Well, you know what? There's no oceans on Mars. There's no lakes on Mars that we've seen. There's some underground water, but certainly if there's wildlife, there's not as much as here. I mean, this is like life paradise. So we should be satisfied with being on this planet for a while. I mean, it's pretty nice, except for the hurricanes and the lava flows and continental shift and hurricanes and the ground swallowing people up. It's not the kind of planet that any kind of alien would want. It's just kind of like a zoo they come and look at every once in a while. Yeah, send Hunter and see what he would paint. That's right, Neil. It'd probably be better than the ones he's painting now. Of course, he's making $500,000 a piece on those things. Do you know that he's making more money than Picasso? Wow. We didn't even know that he was this good of an artist, did we? Wow. Oh, yes. If Corey is to be believed, the SSP vehicles are vastly bigger than the ISS. Oh, yeah. Much, much bigger. And way, way, way more advanced. There's a crack pipe on Mars, so let's send Hunter Biden. Yeah, up dog. Good suggestion. Moon dust. Yeah, when I was a kid, I remember watching the moon landing. And it was so cool. It was like the future was within grasp. We're on the freaking moon in 1969, just as JFK predicted before the end of this decade, he says, decade. So, yeah. Well, Corey Good's story was validated by William Tompkins and his landmark disclosure book, Selected by Extraterrestrials, by William Mills Tompkins. My life in the top secret world of UFOs, think tanks, and Nordic secretaries. Yes. It's amazing what he reveals in here, folks. This is one of the disclosure books. This one and The Day After Roswell by Philip J. Corso are two of the most important books, I think, in my opinion. Yes, Zoso. Yes, and didn't it seem like okay, the moon today, Mars tomorrow. It was the whole world was opening up. Anything was possible. And the technologies that came from the moon landing, from that whole effort, it went from the early 60s to 1969. That's how long they prepared. And in this book, when you read it, you'll find out that William Tompkins not only designed miles-long spacecraft for the Navy that were built and deployed by the 1980s in the Solar Warden program, but he also was very instrumental in getting us to the moon. He had access, he was in this think tank, these think tanks, and he had access to extraterrestrial artifacts, these packets that these spies came back from Germany with information that he helped put together, these packets of information. Then you take these packets of information and bring it to industry to see if we could get some development that would keep up with the Germans. But the stuff that these spies were coming back with, the generals weren't believing it. They said, oh, they're talking with these reptilian aliens and they're working on these, anti-gravity craft. They're like, what? But they kept hearing it and seeing more and more evidence. So they said, wow, we better start doing something like this. So there you go. And the rest is history. But he talks about, he designed the computer checkout system that enabled all 32,000 subcontractors' pieces to all work together in unison and the right way. So he designed that. And a woman did the coding for it. It was all these paper punch code cards. She did it all by hand. And she's standing next to these two stacks taller than her of the paperwork that she did to program the whole trip to the moon with this rudimentary computer, which they designed by not only looking at computers that were in development here by us, but also artifacts from craft and things they've gotten from Germany after the war. So there you go. Mud Rabbit wins. I was also watching when I was 13. Yeah. That was exciting times. I mean, we made it to the moon. That is such a landmark. And we did it in the open. Now, I heard that Russia attempted to land people on the far side of the moon, but they did it in secret. And they ended up crash landing on the moon. So apparently there's possibly some cosmonaut skeletons on the moon or remains. I think we should do an international space mission to the moon to either recover those cosmonauts that crashed, landed, and died there, or bury them on the moon, in a ceremony, and honor their bravery. My goodness. But so they were doing theirs in secret. We did ours in the open, and the success or failure was in plain sight at all times, which made it so exciting, so exciting. But yeah, we made it to the moon. And if you have a telescope, you can see all of the landing spots of the moon. You can see them with a high enough powered telescope. And you can find pictures on the intranet from other telescopes that got pictures of them. So I know some people think we didn't make it to the moon. I know it's easy to think that everything is a lie, but not everything was a lie, okay? Not everything. There was a novel, Peter Nevsky, can't remember the author's name. This was a novel. Yeah, isn't that nice watching the Earth? I guess they're not doing the spacewalk anymore. Feel free to call in if you'd like. Yeah. The true history of the moon landing. Okay. Well, I know that William Tompkins drew a picture of what he saw because he was seeing the feed before it went to the public, but they ended up not showing this feed. That's why there's a 2-minute missing 2 minutes after they landed Apollo 11 on the moon. Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Because they were saying, and ham radio operators picked it up, and you probably heard this. You can find this on the internet. Look, oh my God, they're huge. They're on the crater edge watching us. These ships are huge. We know. And NASA was saying, we know. Point the camera the other way. Stop talking about it. We know. Stop talking about it. Turn the camera the other way. And William Tompkins drew a picture of what he saw because he was in an underground observation room. He designed the observation room that all the other scientists were watching it from. But he saw what the public didn't see, and he did a sketch of it. And I'm trying to find that sketch, and I'll show it to you. Oh, here it is. I think this is the right one. Okay, there it is. All right, so here it is, folks. We'll get this up here. Or are you mesmerized by the Earth picture? We can always go back to that. We can always go back to that. I hope something interesting wasn't happening when I did that. So here it is. The top part of the picture is William Tompkins' sketch, and below it is my computer rendering of that sketch. Because I wanted to get kind of a more of what it might have kind of looked like. So I guess that's sort of what it looked like from their vantage point. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gigantic ships watching this little teeny tin can land on the moon. Can you imagine? And then having to not tell people that you saw this on the moon for those 2 astronauts. Can you imagine? I mean, come on, one of them's already dead, right? There's only one left alive. Come out with the truth, buddy. Why don't you know, Buzz Aldrin, weigh in on this. Is this what you saw? Because this was from the camera feed that he saw this from. He's an artist. He did this sketch from his memory of what he saw that day. And it was shocking, but they could not let the public know about this. They didn't want the public to know that there was forces mightier than our military, because that would, the government and the military would maybe cease to exist. That was a fear. But there you go. And there is what they said here too. Hundreds of ham radio operators. Yeah, that audio has always been intriguing. Now we have the visual to go with it. So how do you like that? Yeah, Kirk looks startled by Awesome Possum in the background. Yeah, he is very startled by him. Wouldn't you be? What's this cartoon character doing on his spaceship? My goodness. My goodness. So that's an interesting, I mean, think about this guy. He was 94 years old when he finally kind of broke onto the scene. This aerospace engineer who had a lifelong career in making models of spaceships and ships and thinking about space travel and helping to get to the moon. What an amazing life he had, and I'm so glad he got to come forward and we got to hear parts of his amazing life. So yeah, get that book. It's a great book, Selected by Extraterrestrials. It's an incredible read, really. It's done. It jumps around a lot, but I kind of like that in the book. I don't mind that. William Tompkins, yeah, he's an American hero. Oh yeah, Mona Lisa. Oh yeah. Yep. Apollo 20. Yep, that was a big one. Yep. You would love to see that site, but it'd be very intimidating. Yeah, can you imagine? Wow. They're in that little teeny fragile little craft, and I wonder what, because they look like all the same type of craft. They're very large. I wonder which aliens were operating these craft, or was it our secret space program from the future coming back to watch it? I don't know. Oh yeah, the artist's interpretation. Yes, Austin Morris, the artist's interpretation of what she might have looked like when she was alive. Yeah, for Mona Lisa. That is a very excellent portrait. A. Neal says, I saw interviews of people that saw a spacecraft land, a whole class of children. Yes, over there in, I believe, Africa. 62 children saw it. They all had they drew the same pictures, very similar. None of them had ever heard of those things before. Joe Kellogg, good to see you here. Oh, thank you for not supporting the never went to the moon nonsense. I know. I don't like nonsense. I like real things or something that could possibly be real. Did you know that the name Tompkins is a very old one? It can be traced back to the start of records at least 1,000 years ago. Really? Wow, Updog. That's some good digging. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, Zimbabwe. Yeah, no one has changed their story after 30 years. Yeah. What are they gaining from that? Nothing. So it's something that happened. I saw a UFO in 1996 over Chippewa Falls, and it looked just like this. I know I've shown this before, but this is the UFO I saw over Chippewa Falls in 1996. It was zipping at sharp angles and stopping in midair. It was in the middle of the afternoon. I stopped my car, and it was totally, when it was moving, it was totally, it wasn't wobbling or anything like that. It was, and the edges were very crisp like this. It looked just like the sport model. This is exactly what it looked like. And I was freaking out, totally freaking out. And then a year later, this model came out. I went, oh my God, I bought 2 of them. And I built one of them clear. This one's clear. You can kind of see it's missing some of the pieces in the bottom. It's only got one of the gravity wave generators in the bottom still. It's reflecting all the blue lights from in here. Isn't that cool? Cool as a moose. And here's the, you can see, where is it? There's a little access panel. Where is it? Here it is. See that black part, that octagon shape? Bob Lazar said that was like a grate, like a metal grate. And when you moved it, it just kind of like fell away. Like it was very, very mechanical, but it opened up so you could go down to the bottom hatch. And he did, but he just like hung down there, and he was able to grab one of these or move one of these gravity wave generators. He said it was the thing it was on was flexible because the craft, they can point these to the direction they want to aim their gravity field at. There's usually 3 of them. I need to re-glue those back on here. But yeah, that's the UFO I saw, and it freaked me out. It changed my world and made me want to make sculptures out of potatoes, just like on Close Encounters. Oh, that's a hexagon? Let me see. Yeah, you're right. It is a hexagon. My bad. I thought it was an octagon. Hexagon, you're right. But the way he described it, how it opened up, and also, and the reason they molded this in clear is because he said that when certain things were activated, some of those archways would turn clear. You could see through the metal. It would turn clear. So the idea is if you wanted to paint it like all silver except that one area, you could make it, oh, this is what it would look like. You could look through it. That is Bob Lazar's sport model. Yes, that's right. From Testers, the S4 UFO revealed. And I think they're out of print now. But if you can find one, get one. Oh, Celestial Soul. Yes. I like when you talk about UFOs. I've also shared the Dorothy Izett video that you told us about. The documentary is on Amazon Prime. Yes, it's a great one. Yes, Dreyfus. Yeah, the Spud sculptor, right? The Spud sculptor. That's right. That was always such a good movie. Don't you think? Yeah. Oh, there's this. I forgot about this. I was going to talk about this as well. So check this out. So they found, where is it? Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. So this is this ancient files. Okay, where is this? Minerals of extraterrestrial origin much harder than diamonds discovered in Israel. Hear about this? Whoa! Whoa! We don't like that. Oh, man. So apparently they found, okay, so a material that resembles allandite, which was discovered when the allandite meteorite struck the Earth in 1969. But it's different. And they go through the molecular structure of this carmelizite, crystal structure of carmelizite. Doesn't look very stable to me. It looks kind of weak. But there's the Carmelizite. I don't know. I don't know if this is real or clickbait, but it's interesting. If there's something harder than diamonds, I don't know. Let's see. Extremely expensive. 18 miles under the surface. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. That's sort of interesting. This kind of mineral was once believed to only be found in extraterrestrial soil. Now, how could they even think that? How could they think that? Yeah, that makes me question the whole article. Sometimes the way they're written, I don't even want to read it because, I don't know. It's kind of iffy. What do you guys think about that? Let me check out the chat here. Check the chat. Check the chat. Yeah. Yeah, on Zoso's show, he was talking about where has our humanity gone? And I think a lot of us are hanging on to that and hoping for a better day, and that's the other thing. Sometimes when we're working with people who are not very equipped to do the work that you're doing, it's a chance to teach that person or those people skills that they might not ever learn from anybody else. So it's always a learning thing. Yes, Sopranos fan 11, in the late 90s. Yeah, because 1997 was supposed to be the disclosure year and a lot of things happened that year and it almost happened. I mean, it did happen, but it wasn't noticed by enough people. Um, but yeah, you had the Bob Lazar come out. You had the Day After Roswell come out with Philip J. Corso, Colonel Philip J. Corso, and that right there, the Corso book in '97, that was the disclosure book. I mean, he lays it out. He tells you he was there when they decided to keep it secret, and he was also there when they said, we're going to keep it secret till we figure out who these people are, what they're here for, and more about them. But we will eventually tell the public. Well, it's way past time to tell the public. And if you watch interviews with him, he goes, give it to the young people, give it to them. They're going to have to deal with this stuff. Let them know. There's no reason to keep it secret anymore, except for nefarious reasons. So there you go. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. Don't need that ad thing flickering. Oh, like that. Well, check and see if anyone's in the chat here. Nope. Feel free to call in if you want, if you'd like to. And remember now, we're also going to be on Wednesday night. And then also on Friday. Friday, we're going to have Alara, Sirius. And then on Monday, we're going to have Zoso Dude. So it's going to be fantastic. Lots of stuff coming your way. Knowledge is power, yes. Or like I say, Knowledge is power. I like to pronounce all those silent letters because I feel like they're being discriminated against. I think it was David Letterman that said that silent letters were because of the ink czars were trying to make more money selling more ink, so they decided to come up with this silent letter idea. Let's throw letters in there that don't make any sounds. We'll sell more ink. I think that's hilarious. I'm not sure if that's true or not. So yeah. Yeah, nefarious. Yeah. Yeah, the cockroaches have been in charge. That's the problem. This is what happens to the world when the cockroaches are in charge. You get the degradation of the family, you get all this kind of bad stuff happening, but there's more good people than bad people. It's just that the bad people have a lot of people in power right now, but it's being cleaned up, I think. Thousands of corrupt CEOs stepped down in the last few years. The world is changing. We were turning around in the corner here, and another tragedy over here in Wisconsin, as you might know, in Waukesha. That Daryl Blake, I think his name is, not a very good guy. Very long criminal record. And it turns out, too, I heard something. I don't know if this, I have to research this a little more, but I heard something that he had run over somebody else like the day prior or earlier that day. Man, that people like that, you know, I'm generally kind of against locking people up because I was in jail myself and it's not a good feeling. But some people, I think you just need to, you know, like some dogs, like, you know, they're just going to do things like that. That's not a good thing. The cockroaches are bigger down under. Yeah, you guys got spiders. I mean, my God, you got like gigantic spiders and huge bugs. Man, wow. And the duck-billed platypus. You know that scientists didn't believe the researchers when they came back with the pelts of a duck-billed platypus. They didn't believe it. They thought it was a hoax. You just put a duck bill on a beaver skin or something. No, that's what it is. Several weeks earlier, he ran over his kid's mom. Oh, yeah, and he just got out of jail 2 days ago. So several weeks earlier, is that what he was let out of jail for running over his kid's mom? Oh, people, this guy, and it's not because of his skin color, it's because of the content of his character that I dislike the man. Platypus attack, no joke, have claws. Oh, really? So they're not some cuddly little things. They got claws. Wow. I think I did see they sift through the water with the bill that they have. And they survive in places where other animals can't survive. What a niche. There's so many strange different animals in down under there. So interesting. Yeah, just posted bail and then he got out to go kill more people. Man. Wow. There are more good people than bad people. But if the border doesn't get closed pretty soon, that might change. Because that's, believe it or not, that's, I think, what they want. They want chaos in the streets so they can sit up in their palatial manners and watch the videos of all the plebes fighting each other. Terrible. But we can't let that happen, folks. We got to be smarter than that. And I want to applaud everybody who has their DNA still intact, if you know what I mean. I still have my DNA intact, thank God. I have, my natural immune system's working perfectly well. No need to enhance it with any kind of experimental anything. Kokos are mini kangaroos in Western Australia. Are those the ones with the goofy, funny faces that always look like they're smiling like they're a cartoon character? Those are so cool. Yeah, the 90s was supposed to happen. It was supposed to be disclosure, 1997. And in fact, there was a big hubbub about some guy who apparently worked in these secret programs, and he had this location, I don't know if it was Arizona or New Mexico, or maybe Mexico, where they buried a UFO, and he was going to go dig it up. And I don't know whatever happened to that guy. I never heard from him again. Or maybe I think I know what happened to him. I can't remember who it was. But I was excited about that. Wow, they're going to dig one up. That's going to be so cool. I mean, wouldn't that wake people up? I saw no platypuses or cats on Mars. Yeah, they would be a hard time surviving there. Yours is good and natural immunity. Awesome, Mud Rabbit. And if I missed some of your posts, I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm doing the best I can to keep up here. Yeah. Mars has a fossil shark, unless it's a fake planted image. Yeah, natural things can look like other natural things, like rocks can look like animals because they're both natural. So that's why, I've mentioned this before, but, we got the Mars rovers up there. We got, half a dozen of them now. They're all like playing bumper car up there, right? They're cruising around. They're many years past their expiration date. They keep on going like the ever-ready battery. But why don't they send them to loop back around to go back and check out some of the anomalies that they photographed? Like, okay, well, he's way over here now. We'll have him loop around and go back. He'll cover a lot of new territory, and then they'll solve a mystery. If NASA is really in the business of solving mysteries, wouldn't they do at least that? I mean, come on. These things are going years beyond their expiration date. Why don't you just, there's that one that showed a person like walking, it was like a sculpture, or looked like a human walking on Mars. Go back and check that again. Go get another angle of it. You know where it is. It's all patterned out there. Oh, look, we got a caller in. I think this is our friend Austin Morris, but we'll see.
Hello? You hear me?
Hello. Hello, friend. I think this is Austin, isn't it?
Yes, this is Austin. I was just calling in. I thought I could comment on a few of the things that you've been talking about.
Okay.
The story about dead Russians on the moon. I've seen two different novels, from two different authors on that theme.
Okay.
Only I read them a long time ago, and I have trouble remembering all the details. But the one that really stuck in my mind as being the best written was called Peter Nevsky. I can't remember the author's name, but it was a drama, kind of a conflict kind of thing. The author was working with the fact that within the Soviet Union space program there were different designers competing against each other and different factions working against each other. So the author used this as the basis for his drama about this attempt by the Soviet Union to beat the United States to the moon. They make this last ditch heroic effort, and 2 men die up there, and then but the young narrator of the story, he's a cosmonaut trainee, but he's not on this mission, so he's not killed. He's left alive to tell the tale, because afterward it was all kept secret, and the men who died were extremely heroic. So he thought their story needed to be told. So years and years later, he tells this story, and years later, they send this expedition to the moon to recover the bodies, which are brought back to Russia and then given Christian burial, as the Soviet Union is long gone by that time. Of course, the author's premise in this story was one of the author's points the author was making was about how evil and awful the Soviet Union was, even though it did have these very excellent and very heroic people.
Wow.
That was one of them. And then
So-
the other novel I have, I can't even remember the name of it, but it it had one Russian going to the moon trying to beat Project Apollo, and he dies there also. It was a bit more of a downer. I can't remember the details because I wasn't as impressed by the author.
So
as I was by the Peter Nevsky book.
So these are fiction novels, or
Yeah, these are fiction novels. They're fiction novels which are based on this theme of these heroic Soviet cosmonauts going off to the moon and not coming back alive, and of course their flights are kept secret afterward.
right. So what do you think? Do you think
Now
the possibility could be true?
Well, this story also has appeared in tabloid newspapers. Variants of this same idea has appeared in tabloids. I mean, something I can't remember which one, but years ago I read something about supposedly when the Soviets sent their robot probes to the moon. Now, this is a tabloid story, and it made no sense to me, and makes no sense to me now either. I'm not advocating or saying you should believe it. But the tabloid story was that this robot vehicle was sent to the moon, and then a manned vehicle was sent to accompany it. And the Russian cosmonauts on the manned vehicle were there to service the robot to keep it running. And then they only go one way, and they're going to die there. And their whole purpose of their flight is to keep that robot operating a while. And it was in a tabloid newspaper, published as something true, but it was utterly crazy to me.
Oh,
Because, if they had the capability of sending people there, they wouldn't need robots. So it made no sense to me. But that story was in a tabloid newspaper, and typical of the kind of thing that gets floated about fatalities among Soviet cosmonauts. Now, the reason why such rumors abound is because of when the Soviet Union existed, their space program was kept very, very carefully secret. And only their successful missions were ever announced to the world.
right.
The most successful missions were announced to the world. And
Right.
we know now, historically, that every successful mission they had some kind of glitch, some kind of problem that they had to deal with. And these were all kept secret. Every negative fact, large or small, was kept a secret. And in this compulsive secrecy, rumors will abound. Of course, you're going to have stories of people getting killed.
Yeah.
And some of them, a great many of them, may be even true. But it's in a climate of just pathological secrecy, you can never be quite sure about how factual something is that you're saying.
Right.
And that's the problem with secrecy. That's why secrecy is bad.
Yes.
Because, of course, our space program and their space program, there are some heroic people who have performed great tasks and have made great sacrifices, and their work gets minimized in a climate of secrecy because you don't know what to believe.
Right.
Which is why secrecy is a bad thing.
I agree.
And so that early on in the Soviet Union space program, the very earliest stories in the early 60s, there were a whole slew of rumors about Russian cosmonauts dying on missions.
Mm-hmm.
And there were two brothers who lived near, I believe it was Milan, Italy. These two Italian radio buffs had created their own space tracking station using surplus radio gear and some old World War II bunker that they built their tracking station in that was all homemade, handmade. And they supposedly tracked Russian missions, Soviet Union missions where cosmonauts were on board the ships who were dead or dying. And they made tape recordings of the voices of these Russians pleading for help up there in space.
Wow.
And this got in Reader's Digest, among other things. I saw a Reader's Digest article which printed this as a factual story. So it wasn't just tabloids.
So was it as fiction, but it was printed as real fact? I mean,
well, no, this is early 60s. I'm talking about this story that was in the Reader's Digest early 60s about these two Italian brothers. They were real people. They really did build stuff.
okay.
They were radio buffs. They were ham radio buffs, and they built their own tracking station. And they had supposedly, allegedly, tape recorded the voices of dying Russian cosmonauts over and over again.
Wow.
The problem with this was these stories from these two brothers in Italy could not be correlated with any real Soviet space activities that NASA would said existed. That is, the official log of Soviet space attempts in those days didn't correlate time-wise with these two Italian guys. So it's never been explained what it was they were recording. I think the whole thing might have been some kind of CIA disinformation plan to discredit the Soviet Union space program, maybe. But that's just my guess, because I don't know. But that got floated as a story of dead cosmonauts in space.
Interesting.
And then after the breakup of the Soviet Union, they released their official archives of their early space ventures, and there were some fatalities. There were things that happened that were very bad,
mm-hmm.
but they were not space missions, direct space missions. The first dead cosmonaut, there was a young man named Bondarenko who was part of the original training team for the Vostok 1. And he was in some kind of ground test. He was not chosen for a mission, but these guys, after they're recruited, they're used as biological test subjects, and all, to spend a lot of time in the training simulators and things, and these centrifuge devices that put them through high G things. This young Bondarenko was in some kind of simulated space flight in a pressure chamber that was pressurized with pure oxygen, and a fire broke out. And he was very, very severely burned, about as badly burned as anyone could be and still be alive. And he was brought into a hospital in this condition where within a day or two he died. And it was very, very sad, very, very tragic, but also they kept it a complete secret. That is, his own family was never informed of this. But in the one space writer, a man named James Oberg, commented that, of course, later on, years later, the Apollo 1 mission, we lose 3 astronauts in a fire in a pure oxygen environment on the Apollo 1 spacecraft. And James Oberg said that if that earlier accident had ever been publicized, it might have provided some warning of that this danger existed. So the secrecy just really benefited no one.
Right.
That was the death of Bondarenko.
Wow.
And then they had another incident which gets in histories. These documentary films will display this as a space accident, but it really wasn't about space. There was a terrific explosion at their space launching center, so-called Baikonur Cosmodrome, in 1961, where the marshal of the Soviet Union, who was the commanding officer of the whole rocket force, was killed. And this was a test of a rocket vehicle, but it was not a space vehicle. It was one of their intercontinental ballistic missile prototypes that was being tested. But it gets reported as having to do with space because this test site was adjacent to the same facility where the Sputnik and Vostok spacecraft had been launched. So it's in the same military reservation where these other activities take place. So it just gets classed along with them as if it were a space mission, but it was not. They were testing an intercontinental ballistic missile. And the thing blew up on the pad and killed over 70 people who were gathered around the pad when the test was made.
Wow. And
the accident was so crazy that it made no sense. One of the reasons it was kept secret. But this guy in charge, he was basically a very, very proud and arrogant military commander. And when the rocket developed technical problems, he insisted that he and his staff take some lawn folding chairs and position themselves close to the rocket so as to encourage those technicians to do their jobs right.
Wow.
Because the big brass are watching. So all these important people were gathered around close to the vehicle when it exploded.
Oh my God.
And the one reason for keeping it secret was that it was so stupid.
It's not a good way to learn.
This gets classed as being a space accident because it's at their space center, but this vehicle that was being assembled was not a spacecraft.
They didn't learn much either, did they?
Well, there were later accidents where I didn't read of people being killed, so maybe they learned something. But
no, I meant the people.
The big moon rocket.
The people who are watching.
The big, huge, gigantic moon rocket that they built to try to beat Apollo to the moon. That was they assembled 4 of them to test, and all 4 of those tests were failures. They were big. That one of them was a big explosion on the pad, but supposedly none of those tests involved loss of human life. That at least is the official story that they still stick to.
One of the things William Tompkins did that he claims in his book is that he was the one that came up with the idea of building the rocket vertically, because they had been building them horizontally, and then when they were done, they'd tip it up. But when they tip it up, a lot of times it would explode. So William Tompkins said, why don't we just build them like vertically, build a big tower and then drive them out?
Yeah, the big cube-shaped building at Cape Canaveral is called the Vehicle Assembly Building, and it's shaped like a big white building that looks like a giant-sized sugar cube, and it's got the assembly bays for vertical assembly of booster sections of so large vehicles can be assembled by just stacking them there instead of trying to. Now the big Russian rocket was not assembled that way. It was assembled on its side and then tilted up.
Okay,
is how it was built. But this was a different process.
Right.
William Tompkins does talk about in the book. William Tompkins also talks about really the plans that Douglas Aircraft had for really big conventional rockets of a type that we have not seen in our day.
The Nova rockets.
Actually built.
The Nova rockets.
Yeah, the Nova class rockets. But there was a friend of Mr. Tompkins, a man named Phil Bono, who was one of the great rocket engineers of all time, but now forgotten. Phil Bono was, I think, born in New York, but his mother and father were from Sicily. And we just don't think of Sicilian rocket engineers, but that's why that's the ethnicity of Mr. Phil Bono.
Wow.
And he designed on paper some of the biggest rockets ever conceived of by the human mind, because he had rockets that could lift about maybe 2 million pounds into Earth orbit.
Wow.
And it was while he was working with this team that William Tompkins writes about. And Phil Bono's story fascinates me because the rockets differ in design from those that Elon Musk are building.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see, and the way Phil Bono designed these things, he was concerned about where the center of gravity is going to be if you got a really, really big vehicle. He didn't want it shaped like a big pencil. Well, that's the way rockets are always built, but not when Phil Bono was designing these things. I would have loved it if any of his designs had actually gotten off the drawing board just to see how it would work, because it's a different way of thinking. Phil Bono wanted to keep the center of gravity low to the ground on his rocket system. So he made it more or less kind of big cone shapes, big broad around the beam kind of vehicles that look like they have big skirts at the bottom or something. It's hard to describe. Well, like a child's top, you know,
Okay.
kind of
Sure.
conical, what they call truncated cones.
Right.
These were the geometric forms he was using. And he also advocated a different rocket design that I've never seen built in the real world, but I'm pretty sure it had to have been built and tested somewhere at some time by somebody. But he pioneered what was called the plug nozzle, and that's something I've not seen that at all in recent years. But the Phil Bono, the plug nozzle, you have this big plate at the bottom, and the rocket motors are in a circumferential ring around the edge of this plate.
Okay.
And when they are all firing, all the motors at this circumference around the pusher plate, they're creating a pressure zone under this vehicle that's just lifting it up by the force of all these motors that are firing on the circumference around a bottom curved form, a convex form, a bottom convex form, and then a ring of rocket motors around it, firing all simultaneously to create this pressure zone under this vehicle to lift it. And the trick here is, when the mission's over, that bottom pusher plate serves as a heat shield for re-entering the Earth's atmosphere, because Phil Bono wanted this thing to fire again and land itself.
Yeah.
And this was where he ran into ridicule. The idea of a rocket that just flies itself back and lands on its butt is something nobody could believe.
Look what they're doing now.
Well, where have we seen that idea lately?
Exactly. Someone did it.
Elon Musk.
Yep.
But if you look at Elon Musk's rockets, and this surprised me, Elon Musk rockets are all kind of pencil shaped. They look very conventional.
Mm-hmm.
Their performance surprises you, because they just don't look like they should do what they're doing, but they're doing it.
Right.
But I keep wondering what was wrong with Phil Bono's idea. I know it got critiqued. A lot of engineers didn't like it, but he was an original thinker. He was a very creative man. He did take this. He came up with, once he had this basic scheme in his mind of how to build a reusable space booster, he scaled it up, he scaled it down, he scaled it every which way, and succeeding designs, all for Douglas aircraft. And these plans, the budget cuts in the 1970s pretty much killed all these ideas. But all this stuff we're seeing Elon Musk do now, Phil Bono was wanting to do back in the 1970s.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
and that these ideas, I read about them in detail in a book, a British author named Kenneth Gatland wrote a book called Frontiers of Space. It was kind of a digest-sized hardback book that was published, I don't know, mid to late 70s. It was shortly after these plans were all canceled, but maybe early 1980s. But it was a long time ago. But you might still find that somewhere in a used bookshop or something. But Kenneth Gatland was the author who profiled Phil Bono, the space engineer, who had to have been a Leonardo da Vinci of rocket design in his day, but he's now forgotten. But he's mentioned in Tompkins' book. Tompkins just says that he worked with Phil Bono, and he gives some silhouette pictures of some of the large rockets of that period, large rocket designs, and some of them are Phil Bono's designs, and some of them are similar ideas from other engineers, where they'll show you a big rocket, but it won't be this plug nozzle idea of Phil Bono. It'll be some variant idea from somebody else. So there were a bunch of engineers all thinking the same way and trying to go down the same track.
Yeah.
Which fascinates me, because I don't really know all the story behind that. And who were they planning all of this for? Because NASA's budget was getting cut. NASA's budget was severely cut beginning 1966. I mean, the Apollo moon missions, there were a total of 15 Saturn V rocket boosters built altogether.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Which is so, and the entire Apollo program was to be planned around those. And I think 2 or 3 of them were never used at all. Just turned into museum displays.
Wow.
So Phil Bono's giant-sized rockets didn't have a buyer, but he designed them anyway. So he had somebody in mind.
Well,
maybe William Tompkins' book is giving us some much needed background for a little more context to all this.
Yeah. Andrew Brishago told me that he met William Tompkins, and William Tompkins told him that he remembered Andrew's father. So he remembered him being in some of these programs. So that's pretty interesting. Now, my experience with work, I've always had creative jobs. I'm a very creative person. And the thing that I have run into a lot and seen a lot of is a lot of people do not like creative people, like this guy who had the new rocket design. They're very jealous, or they don't want to see someone succeed with a new idea. So there's this reluctance to, I don't know if it's jealousy or what, but something. But they don't like new ideas. Very interesting. But that maybe he ran into that. That could be.
There is something on YouTube about one of Phil Bono's rocket ship designs. There's a YouTube presentation about it's called the 1,200 man troop transport rocket, or the Ithacus rocket. And it was a Phil Bono design, one of this array of different designs he came up with, which were all variations of his same plan. And this YouTube video has animated views showing exactly how it would work according to Phil Bono's planning. And it doesn't really say. I mean, it just says basically it was all canceled for economic reasons, not for technical ones. Nobody proved that this plan wouldn't work. It just got canceled. Now, I have read from other sources that the plug nozzle idea of Phil Bono, there'd be a lot of thermal stress on that bottom pusher plate thing, and that could be a possible source of failure, and it might have been beyond the materials science of that period, maybe. But since none were ever built and tested, I don't know how real that critique is. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That sounds like the dismissive wave of the hand from those those people jealous of a creative engineer. Maybe, maybe.
I looked this up really quickly, and I just put 1,200 passenger rocket Phil Bono, and there's a whole bunch of pictures, and I see it's a stubby looking thing that he built, huh? They wanted to build. Very stubby looking.
Yeah, it's that he had big ones and little ones, the same basic design. He had it scaled down to be something that could replace airliners, like to take 100 people from continent to continent. And he had it scaled up to like multi-million-pound payloads to go to Mars and the Moon. There was even a Phil Bono plan for building a Mars base with these rocket boosters. It's to me, it's amazing how closely this parallels some of Elon Musk's ideas.
Yeah.
But Elon Musk makes no reference back to this earlier work, and the engineering is completely different from Elon Musk's rockets. Completely different, even though it's the same basic idea. And that fascinates me too, because the plug nozzle idea evidently hasn't gone anywhere. But that reasoning where you make it this broad around the beam kind of rocket to keep the center of gravity low, that always made sense to me.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk rockets, every time I see them land, I think they're going to tip over.
I know it, and they have done that a couple times, but
yeah, they've done that a few times. So it doesn't look natural to me, but then what do I know? What do I know? I mean, he's the billionaire building them. He's making it work. I'm just on the sidelines, kind of giving my
there might very well be some people working there that remembered this and researched it before they went ahead and built those rockets. It could have had some kind of play, you know.
Well. Yeah, I'm not seeing a thread of continuity at all, but there could be. And then again, also, I don't know
the idea of it landing itself. That's continuity. I mean,
yeah,
yeah. I think, and another reason why they maybe didn't do a short one is, rockets are, pretty phallic. I mean, these guys, they want big rockets. They don't want a little rocket. They want to impress the big rocket girls, not the little rocket girls. So I don't know.
Well, that Amazon Jeff Bezos guy, his machine is downright ridiculous. It's just absurd. I mean, it's space dildo. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah. Well, did you ever see Austin Powers when they saw that UFO and everyone it was like a joke? It looks like and then it says Johnson.
I didn't. I missed that.
Okay, well, watch Austin. I think Austin Powers. I don't know which movie it was, but at one point there's a UFO or something in the sky, and everyone keeps saying, "It looks like a giant," and then they cut to somebody else saying something else, and then I think one of them was Willie Nelson. So funny, but yeah, the rockets are very shaped that way. So maybe the smaller rocket not going to be, but I can see where it would make more sense. Like you said, lower center of gravity. And if it's going to land, you want it to be shaped that way. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they should have built it. Maybe they. Although, there's probably thousands of things that they proposed but were never built. I know that just working in the toy business, a lot of toy concepts get bantied around and very few of them ever come out. So, yeah, there's
one of my happy memories of childhood is having a. Do you remember Mark's Play Sets?
Oh yeah, Mark's Toys. Yeah.
There was a Mark's Play Set called a Moon Base.
Okay.
It had little plastic astronauts, a moonscape, and all kinds of little plastic toy spaceships, and with little green space aliens. It was neat. I loved it.
I'm looking it up right now.
There's probably something on the web somewhere that commemorates it.
Oh yeah, Moon Base. There it is. Look at that.
Yeah, the Mark's Moon Base.
I did not see this. This is really cool, though. I've never seen this before. Wow. Look at that. This looks like that kind of a rocket. Looks like almost like a shuttle. That's wicked looking.
Yeah, that one was the one that would go up a mountain on a catapult. That had to have been copied from Robert A. Heinlein, because that was in one of his novels long before anybody was thinking about space seriously.
Right. Look at all these old toys. Wow. Fantastic. You know what? I had the real pleasure of going to Lucas's ranch to preview the movie Willow with a bunch of other industry people. It was really very, very cool. So it's very cool to see stuff like that. Yeah, this is interesting. Marx. I think Marx is marketing some stuff now. It might not be the same company, but they're using the nameplate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've just got one piece left from that. It's the little green guy with the big ears,
Okay.
and the big hands. It was one of those images there. One of the little green men. That's all I've got left.
Your buddies all stole all the rest of them. Maybe your buddies took, or they ended up in the vacuum.
Yeah, everything disappeared I had from that era.
Oh, here's the green guy. Look at that. You know what? This looks a lot like the characters that Andrew Basiago said are on Mars. They have pointy ears, and they look kind of like that. Wow.
Well, one of them definitely resembles the Kentucky. What was that? The Sutton Farm, in Kentucky. The Kelly creatures. The green guy there, right there, resembles the Kelly UFO creatures.
Oh yeah, the green.
From that was a 1955 encounter incident where these things.
The green children.
It was supposed to have been like an attack, but no human being got hurt.
Wow.
The scared the daylights out of this farm family, and they fired at them with shotgun blasts.
Wow. Look at these little robot guys.
That was near. It's a little town called Kelly near Hopkinsville, Kentucky, which is not far from Fort Campbell.
Wow.
Stuff like that always seems to happen near military installations.
Of course.
But anyway, that moon base had stuff that was little plastic representations of ideas which actually had appeared in some of the military moon base plans. The Air Force had a moon base program that was, and the Army had their Project Horizon program, which were rival programs to build bases on the moon. And this is the same idea in toy form, which includes some of the same vehicles, which look to me like they're adapted from the Air Force plan.
Yeah.
My guess is the Air Force released a lot of details of what they were planning to do, and the Army didn't. Is my guess.
You know what happened when I was working at Hasbro in the mid '80s? At Toy Fair, the showroom was shut down by the military because someone was in there that was in the military, and they saw a swept reverse wing jet that was designed for the G.I. Joe line, that was designed by a friend of mine who was a great designer there, Guy Cassidy. And he took it from a picture on the cover of Popular Science or Popular Mechanics of the reverse winged jet that the Americans were working on top secret. He took that and he used that kind of as a rough guide, but he's a designer, so
Mhm.
he designed it himself, and he added a bunch of stuff to it and made it really cool. It turned out it was so close to the actual airplane that they had to stop everything and lock up. They had to make an agreement. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm in the middle of a answer of a question. So they had to from that point on. They had to run all of their toy vehicles past the military to make sure it wasn't
Interesting.
too close to what they're working on. Isn't that That's fascinating. And I'm sorry, Max, about that, but I had to finish that sentence. How are you doing today?
It's okay. Good.
Good.
How are you? How is everybody?
Doing good. We're talking to our old friend Austin Morris.
About?
Well, about Mark's moon base toy, amongst other things.
Oh, wow.
And this guy, Phil Bono, that created these or designed these rockets back in the day that never got built, but they would land just like Elon Musk is landing his rockets, standing up, which is the way that's the way all rockets landed in really old sci-fi movies. They'd always land on the moon just like that, a rocket coming down.
I saw an interesting thing that you should pass on to Andrew.
Okay. What's that?
It was I was on the Dr. Oz show. It was something called Orcam My Eye product, and it's like glasses that you can wear that can tell you what you're seeing, basically.
Oh yeah, I think he does. I think he has heard about that.
I don't know how expensive they are, but they look pretty interesting for that kind of thing. Like they demonstrated it reading a newspaper. You could tell it read the headlines,
right?
And it figure out which are the headlines and read you just the headline. And
well, but
interesting.
He wants to edit his book though, so I think he would actually have to actually see the word. Or I guess you could maybe you could tell the word is misspelled.
But it helps because it could read things to him.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. The Oricam. I that sounds really familiar.
Orcam.
I think we did look at that. I'll have to.
Okay, Orcam My Eye.
I'll mention it to him next time I talk to him, and see what he says.
I think it's ORCAM, but
yeah, that's what I wrote here.
I'm
Orcam.
not sure of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we looked at that, but we'll see.
And if it turns out he's interested in that, there's a promo code that he can get 15% off of it. And
okay.
That's it was from the Dr. Oz show, so it's the initials TDOS. So you use that code TDOS. That stands for the Dr. Oz show.
Oh.
Then you get 15% off. Just thought I'd pass that along. So
I thought it stood for Trump derangement syndrome.
Maybe it does that too.
Yeah. Is anything else working in the world down your way there, Max?
Well, let's keep an eye on all the developments going on and trying to look for new sources of hope,
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of things going on, so I think it's more hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're moving in the right direction. More and more people waking up and resisting, and it's encouraging that people aren't taking the race bait they're putting out there.
Yeah.
So it's getting so blatantly obvious that I'm sure a lot of people are saying this is crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that a road is racist, come on.
Yeah.
Stuff like that,
Yeah.
It's just complete insanity.
It is. I saw a meme. I saw a meme that said some people wouldn't know totalitarianism if they made them wear a mask and put them in a lockdown and made them lose their job. Yeah. They wouldn't know it.
Yeah. Wouldn't know it. Yeah.
So we got Zoso Dude.
Like Twilight Zone.
We got Zoso Dude in the audience out here in the chat. He's going to be he's going to be on the show next Monday, and we got Alara Sirius coming on Friday night. So yeah,
moving up.
There we go, getting people on the air here.
Yeah, I saw you on Space Force News the other night.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that was fun. They got a good little show.
You even got mentioned twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loyal to the foil. I like that name. Loyal to the foil.
Yeah. Well, you know what they call her, that, right?
Tinfoil hat, right?
She's loyal to the tinfoil hat. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I figured that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So how are the people in the chat this evening?
They're doing great. We got lots of awesome people. Abby's in the house. Up Dog, Zoso Dude, Artist 61, Dark Brain, Jerry. Lots of people here.
So many creative names,
I know.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I wish I had an alias name, but too late now. I've already doxed myself. Oh well. Oh well. I don't mind.
There's no need to fear. Up Dog is here.
I'll take all the slings and arrows. Gladly. That was cool when Trump said that. I'll take all the slings and arrows gladly for you. Yeah, and he did. Boy, he took. No one could take as much as he took. Unbelievable.
Yeah, with such grace.
Yeah, unbelievable.
But that's kind of what comes. But think about it. You could easily be that way when you know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you've seen the future and you know what's going to happen and you know what the plan is.
Or even if it's steadfast faith too. Same thing.
Yeah, that too. He had all of that in space. So it doesn't. Either way, he would have performed. So.
Mm-hmm.
So it was meant to be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, his legacy's not over.
No, not by far. He's. I think we're going to get rid of a lot of these rhinos. They're all going to be primaried. Murkowski and all these people that are just controlled by the uniparty. It's really the uniparty. There's no two parties. It's a uniparty. And
had Trump acted, before this, we wouldn't have known these people were sleepers, basically.
Yeah.
All these things, this is all happening for a reason. This is all part of the plan. This is all so we can see, how deep they really went, it's disgusting to see, right? And it's, you know, when we look at it, we ought to all be a little tiny bit ashamed that we let it happen.
Yeah.
But it's all part of our education. It's all part of our.
Yeah. It's turning around.
To kill us.
It's turning around. It's turning around. It sure is. So bottom line, Austin. So do you think that there really was cosmonauts that died on the moon? I mean, if those two Italian guys had a recording, I would tend to think that there's some validity to it.
Well, it depends on how much trust you put in the official account of space flights that occurred, the official log of stuff that went out there, because you can correlate, you can put two and two together and reconstruct what a given mission was all about. And when you do that, you don't end up with opportunities for the old Soviet Union to have actually sent people to the moon with the rockets, the technology that they had in hand. So it appears unlikely, but every rule, that's as a general rule kind of thing for which there could be exceptions. So I as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that the rocket programs of the 60s resulted in people dying on the moon. I don't think that happened from the rocket programs of the 60s. But these stories about the Hanabu and the anti-gravity research and the secret space program, all of that, when you factor that in, all of a sudden all kinds of things become possible that I formerly would have told you was science fiction. I would have said, well, no, that's a science fiction story. And then I give you a chapter and verse as to when that story was published. I'd do that. But if the Hanabu really existed, which William Tompkins seemed to have believed, and if the anti-gravity technology was there, then a lot of things become plausible, crazy things. But you see, the problem I'm having with all this is that the same book, William Tompkins puts this emphasis on this rocket development for these big supersized rockets that they had on their drawing boards. Again, it was for the secret space program, he said. But if you've got practical anti-gravity technology, you don't really need rockets at all anymore. And that's right. This is where I get puzzled and confused. See, what I always have to ask myself, if one of these diehard skeptics was confronting me on this issue and demanding that I prove something, what would I tell them? I don't have facts that I can be sure about on any of these issues.
Right.
The anti-gravity stuff is confusing because there's more than one model of how anti-gravity would work, and I'm not completely sure which model of anti-gravity I really believe in. I tend to have more faith and confidence in the guy named Frederick Alzafon and his ideas, but that's just because he was this brilliant mathematician who, in the math part of it, never got debunked. So it still seems to stand up under the test of time because no one ever found a flaw in Frederick Alzafon's math. But that doesn't necessarily tell you anything. It could be mathematically elegant and still not work. And Frederick Alzafon was never able to test it. Now the Nazi stuff, the Hanabu, so supposedly the designer there was a man named I think it was Wilfried Otto Schumann, and he's the same scientist who gives us the idea of the Schumann resonance.
Yeah.
It's a familiar name.
Yeah.
Now, logically, there should be some physical basis for it that you could find somewhere if you went back and really combed over the work of some of these people in the 30s and 40s. Because so much of that Nazi stuff did leak out after the war. It would be there somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, I don't quite have that chapter and verse committed to mind. There was an author named Stevens who did a book called Dark Star that went into these issues.
Okay.
I can't remember much about it. but it's Dark Star by Henry Stevens, I believe. Might be where to go to get some more information.
Okay.
I've been meaning to have another look at that. I've got a copy of it somewhere in my mess, but I haven't had time. I don't have time for any of this stuff anymore, and it's bothering me.
Yeah. Well,
But Henry Stevens, Dark Star, had a chapter on Schumann, which I need to reread because I'm not remembering enough.
okay.
I'm marveling at your fantastic memory. It's like, whoa. You got a talent there, dude.
Yeah, you remember.
Maybe.
You remember more than I've forgotten. There you go.
That book's in a box in my garage somewhere, and I'm going to be digging. I'm going to be digging, trying to find it.
You know what book was interesting? I don't know if you read The Andreessen Affair.
A long time ago, it was Raymond Fowler. He did a series of books about Andreessen's UFO encounters and experiences.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was a bit confusing to me because I couldn't quite make sense out of the New Age slant that so much of it was given.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard for me to understand how you get such a positive message when the person was abducted by aliens against their will. I mean, the two things don't seem very harmonious. The New Age sweetness and light message and the physical realities of abduction. That's not
well.
not
I heard
important
that,
in my mind.
Well, I heard that a lot of the abductions are they're of entities who have incarnated here, like say a tall gray incarnates, their soul incarnates here on purpose so that they can be abducted as a human, but it's to get around the cosmic laws of not interfering. So they incarnate here so they can abduct them, so they can watch our species by having their own really little.
Well, that's kind of a roundabout rationalization in my mind.
Yeah, that was in Corey's recent drops about the tall grays. Also, how they found they witnessed their base, and they saw these big vats of human parts, and they make it into a paste, and this is the tall grays, they're like 8 feet tall. They take a knife and they scrape the top of their arm, like their forearm, and then they put the paste on there, and they absorb the human slurry through that scraped skin. So they're bad guys. They're eating people. So
well, yeah, but that does not happen in the Andreessen Affair book by Raymond Fowler. I mean, that book, the aliens, it's all positive message.
Yeah, and
that's
also,
my whole point. You've got these
positives
positives and you've got these negatives, and they're not reconcilable yet.
But what I'm saying is, the people being abducted might already be of the same soul family as the people abducting them. Like they incarnated here on purpose to do that. So some of them do. I don't know. But the interesting thing about the Andreessen Affair is the girl, I can't remember her name. Her last name was Andreessen. She was an artist, and she drew all these pictures, and some of the beings were very tiny little guys. Very interesting story. It's very convoluted and like unlike any other story I've ever seen or heard. And that just fascinated the heck out of me, the Andreessen Affair. That's neat that you know about that. So that's cool. I don't know what happened to my book. I think I lost it. But so anyway. Anything else, Max, that's on your mind? Oops, sorry.
Just saying the original of that book has been reprinted. I don't know that the sequels were, but the original was reprinted.
I'll have to check that out. Thanks.
But I don't know why I had this thought now. Just one of the things that popped in my head. You know how we had this stories or whatever about adrenochrome and how you know how they extracted it from children that were tortured.
Yeah.
You know, the fear. Well, I was thinking about it. It says, are there chemicals that are associated with some function in our body that are produced in response to like love, positive emotions? You know, we have endorphins, right? That when we feel really good, endorphins are secreted. But I once had this experience, and now I do this all the time. I don't know what's actually happening. There's a time I had a doctor told me I had an eye pressure problem, and this is prior to my discovery that I had cancer. Actually, it's one of the clues that I had cancer because I tried everything at that time. There was a supplement you could get. I'm trying to remember the name of it. And the supplement worked for a while, and then stopped working. We no longer could control pressure. Well, somebody told me, well, there's some active ingredient in marijuana that might lower your intraocular pressure. So I got some of that and I tried it. Well, a single puff and my eye pressure would plummet, but unfortunately it would only last like an hour or 2 hours. It's not a long lasting effect at all. You know, I wasn't about to, smoke that forever, And, but the interesting thing happened when I did that. It forced something out of the roof of my mouth, like a long strand of crystals got extruded out of the roof of my mouth.
What?
Yeah, and I was like, what is this thing? And I pulled this from the back of my throat, and it was crystalline. You could put it between your two fingers, and it felt like crystals. And right after this thing got extruded out of the roof of my mouth, liquid would come out. So there's like a little duct, and I wondered if this thing could be connected somehow to the pineal gland.
Could be. Now
here's the thing. Go ahead.
Just to interrupt a little bit quickly here, there's that guy in India who claims he hasn't eaten or drank anything in over 70 years. He says he stares at the sun for 40 minutes a day, and a sticky sweet substance comes from the roof of his mouth. And I've had some things come from the roof of my mouth too. And I think it happened after I looked at the sun when I was a kid and it burned a hole in my retina. But go on.
No,
go ahead.
It tastes slightly bitter to me.
Yeah, it did.
Now, here's the interesting thing. It's only secreted when you either think about or say love. And I was experimenting the other day. If you go love and extend it, drag it out.
Yeah.
Then it forms to a little drop toward the back of your mouth, the roof of your mouth, and that drop will eventually drop. Because enough of it's collected.
Mm-hmm.
So I intend at some future point when I know who to send it off or what to test for, to extract that and find out what it is. Some other people ought to try that at home, because you can feel it collect there. I really think it has something to do with something produced by the pineal gland or something. I don't know if it could be DMT or what it could be. I haven't observed any effect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's something I was thinking about the other day, and so I did some more experiments. Doing some chanting, and I remembered this experience before, so I started experimenting with that. So it makes me wonder, of course, in my model of the free will love laser, I said love is a connection to source. So in theory, the more connection we have to the source, perhaps the more, I don't know, more of something that can be downloaded to us. Maybe life energy or life essence. I don't know. I'm just throwing some ideas out here.
Could be. Yeah.
Maybe somebody in the audience will be able to add to that understanding just by doing it themselves. But I urge some people to try this because I wondered if it's some kind of trans-dimensional material that our pineal gland makes.
I don't know.
So that would have the ability to, essentially, that would have the ability to nourish our trans-dimensional soul.
Mm-hmm.
There's people have claimed, I can't remember, I can't give you a name, that the things that we eat, it's the trans-dimensional materials that's in the things that we eat, the life essence, so to speak, that actually nourishes us, not the amino acids and proteins and everything else.
Okay.
That's an interesting concept. There's no, as far as I know, there's no proof of that.
All right.
But it's quite an interesting concept. It kind of fits in with that idea anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So
Okay.
I don't know what test one would run on it. So I haven't done any testing.
Okay.
But I was also thinking, nobody's been able to find anything on the Shroud of Turin, that other than common materials, right?
I thought that they analyzed it and discovered that it was all paint and there wasn't any bodily fluids on it. That's what I heard.
Well, they can't find any evidence of anything extraordinary, but yet there's this image there.
It's paint.
And I thought maybe
it's paint. They did an analysis of it years ago. That's what I remember. I'm remembering. Yeah, paint. It was paint.
Oh, I don't remember that. Huh.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. I did see recently a three-dimensional printed, supposedly from the shroud. Now, there's no way you can get a three-dimensional, sculpture from a two-dimensional draping that's supposedly over. There's no way, but there's no way. It was. They took a lot of liberties. I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
It was bizarre, very bizarre. Oh, Dark Brain says Turin paint theory has been invalidated. Oh, really? I suppose they're always going to be going back and forth on that.
I wondered if it was like this 2D superconductor idea that I have, that that's the essence of, I contend, our soul.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, a 2D superconductor has basically the ability to store infinite amount of information. So, and it can't be detected by ordinary analytical methods. So it wouldn't show up as anything. I'm trying to figure out what test one would do, but
yeah,
I'm sure the people, if I'm right, the people in the secret space program have already done such analyses, because I contend these 2D superconductors is one of the key concepts that makes the secret space program possible.
Okay.
But anyway, because it's in my model, it is what makes the anti-gravity possible.
Okay.
It's the link between the anti-gravity and human consciousness as well. They're all intertwined. The biggest concepts that man has today are those. They basically, one is the penultimate achievement of mankind is the discovery of anti-gravity, the ability to travel anywhere in the universe and maybe beyond, and to find out that similar technology is implicated in possibly how our soul works. So there you have the two greatest achievements of man. You know, shows that both science and religion are two sides of, you know, same coin. You know, that they're interrelated. You know, the whole idea that we come to a point where both are validated. You know.
Mm-hmm. I got to say hi to Jacob Waters. Welcome to the program, and you're the best, Aaron. Wow. I got to start paying that guy. He's saying good things. And I also have to say hi to Abby. And I didn't think that you were ignoring me, Abby. Don't worry about it. So there you go. There you are. Well, gentlemen, it's we're creeping up on 1 o'clock again here, and it's probably later in other parts of the world. What do you say we put a cap on this one, friends?
I would have called earlier. I went out to eat and I got home and had a food coma.
Oh yeah, you just woke up.
I was intending to call in earlier, and I kind of zonked out, and I woke up and says, maybe he's still on.
Yeah, you lucked out. Yeah, I even started early, so you made it. And Austin, thank you also for calling in. I like it when people call in. So very.
Oh, thank you, Aaron. Thank you.
He's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, it's always interesting angles on things, and very, very interesting. Okay, well, thank you, Austin. We'll talk to you next time. I hope you call in again.
Okay.
And
all righty. Good night, Max, and good night, Aaron.
All right. Good night, buddy.
Good night, Austin.
Thanks.
Good night, Aaron.
Talk to you later. Okay.
Right. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stay strong.
All right, friends. We did it again. Another episode number, what was this? 106? 106. Another episode of Truth Quest Full Disclosure. Thank you to the mods, Mud Rabbit and Dark Brain. You guys rock. If there's ever anyone else in the chat that Dark Brain and Mud Rabbit want to also make mods, let me know. You guys rock. All the members in the chat, thank you for coming by. Thanks for liking and sharing, telling all your friends and even your enemies. Tell everybody. And remember to keep your camera pointed up at the sky and your phone and get ready to take that picture of that UFO so you can come on the UFO on the Truth Quest and talk about it. And remember, you rock. Until then, remember, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and this Friday, Zoso Dudes on Monday, next Monday, and Alara Sirius on Friday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we see on Wednesday, and then Friday, Alara, and then the next Monday, Zoso Dude, special guest here on the Truth Quest. Thank you very much. You rock. Peace in.